If you want to have the biggest garlic possible, pretty much you need to be using a foliar spray, a high nitrogen foliar spray. Because I'm an organic grower, I'm using fish emulsion for my nitrogen, but there's other sources. And what that does is right now the plants are growing vigorously and they need all the sunlight, moisture, and nitrogen to produce leaves. The principle behind foliar feeding is the notion that plants can actually take nutrients in through their leaf surfaces. They have pores that are called stomata in their leaves, and those open up mainly at night because over about 85 degrees they close to prevent the plant losing too much moisture through evapotranspiration. So foliar feeding is best done in the early evening. So right now it's about 6:30 p.m. and we have another hour and a half of daylight. So that means that what I spray is going to sit on the leaves and I'll have a chance for it to take it in. And so one way you can view this is it's akin to receiving nutrients through an IV if you're human. Quick. You're not really getting a full meal, but you're getting what you need. So if your plants look like they need some fertilizer, if you were to top dress, it's going to take a while for that to get down to where the roots can access it, whether it's through water percolating it down in or the plant growing new roots towards the nutrients. So what I have here is I have fish emulsion. So this is concentrated fish fertilizer. It's very stinky. It's kind of a brown liquid here. And so here on the bucket I'm seeing it's 2% nitrogen. Then this one is liquid kelp. So back to nitrogen, the three main nutrients you need to grow plants are nitrogen, gives you foliar growth, potassium is root growth, and then phosphorus is flowering and fruit. So with garlic, we're not too concerned with phosphorus. We really want nitrogen so that the plant's leaves are doing everything they can. Potassium, of which the chemical signature is actually K because phosphorus got P. So the kelp is about the trace elements. It's all those other things that plants need in small amounts, and that literally comes from kelp that's freshwater rinsed, because salt is toxic to plants, and then blended up and fermented. So this is a concentrate. You just need a little bit. And then this one is called liquid compost, and it's basically compost tea. And this is things like humic acid and this one's made from like yarrow and chamomile and horsetail and stinging nettles. So here's another concentrate one. So I'm going to start in my, I think there's a 3-gallon backpack sprayer, pump sprayer. That one has a broken. So I just put a little squirt of that in because you just need, these are trace elements. I'm going to water this down. One thing, if you're using a backpack sprayer, this is the side that's going to go up against my back. I don't want to spill there, so I pour on the side away from me because all this stuff kind of stinks. So I'm putting about 1/4 cup of the kelp in there, and then the fish emulsion. This is the one I have to be careful with because it's really stinky. And this is the first time I've used it this year, so it got congealed, so I had to stir it up a bunch. So I'm going to put about a cup in there. And you can see I'm just estimating these quantities, and I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on there because I don't want anybody falling into their demise. It's not a good way to go. And fish emulsion. And then I'm going to add water up to about 3 gallons. And so, because these are concentrated, and you can think foliar spraying is something that you can do about once a week. It's also something that I'll do in my greenhouse on these starts. Behind me you can see all these tomato plants. There's pepper plants, zinnias, other things, dahlias, and they'll all benefit from a little foliar spray. So there we go. Looks good, and just the action of walking up there will mix that up well. I'm going to take a rag and clean it up a little bit. Where I may have spilled. And put this back together. One of these backpack sprayers, it's a worthwhile investment. I pretty much just use it for foliar spraying, like this. But it's a lot easier than one of those little ones that you maybe hook up to a hose. And in my experience, this is a quality tool that will last you a long time. As long as you make sure all the parts are put together. There we go. Alright, well, let's go up to the garlic. I just noticed the other day, because we've been having all the sunny weather, that the tips of my garlic are getting kind of yellow. And to me, that's showing that it would benefit from some nitrogen, because I can see the new growth, see these newer leaves, the ones coming out of the middle, are nice and dark green. And on this German white, it's you know, a bigger, more vigorous plant. It's not struggling to access the nutrients it needs as much as this smaller variety here. One of my early mentors when I was learning about farming, Jim Leap, he was working at the UC Santa Cruz agroecology program, and I went to a workshop with him. And he had a little saying that stuck with me ever since, and he said, you could either grow garlic or you could grow weeds, but you can't grow both. And so a saying like that basically is indicating that garlic is an inefficient feeder. Its roots don't spread out very far. A plant like corn, its roots will go really far and it'll find the nutrients it needs. Garlic, you got to make sure it's right there. So we applied compost at planting time, but that was back in October, and that was 6 months ago. So we've had about 35 inches of rain since then. You can imagine how a lot of those nutrients are just washing through the soil, or the plant's using them. So foliar feeding is a way that we can feed the plant through the leaves until harvest. So pretty much we're here, it's almost May 1st. We have about 6 weeks, 7 weeks more of growth. And then the plant will just be drying down, and we're harvesting around July 1st. So this next 2 months is crucial to make sure your garlic is weeded, well fertilized, and well watered. Those three things are crucial. Otherwise, you're just going to have small garlic. You know, plants this tall, you can see this is up to my hip here. This is going to be huge. These are going to be 3-inch plus bulbs. These ones down here, I'm hoping will be that big. You know, these ones could even be up to 4-inch size. These particular plants are huge. And part of how you achieve big garlic is fertilizing. So, without further ado, I've got my mix in here, and I'm just going to walk along and gently spritz these beds with my pump sprayer on the leaves. And you don't want to do this in the morning, because if it's a hot sunny day, the plant's stomata will be closing. And I've got to adjust my nozzle as I go along, because little bits of organic matter clog it, despite my best effort. So you can see about the speed I'm moving. You know, I'm not trying to like coat each plant entirely. I suppose I could. Let's say you just had a small area, but we've got a fair amount of garlic, so I'd rather just do it a little bit, a few times, and see the result. The key thing is, now I need to come back in like 4 or 5 days and see if I notice any difference. Does the plant look darker green? And you know, obviously some of these things are a bit subjective. But foliar feeding is a great tool to have in your tool belt for organic growing, or regenerative, or whatever you want to call it. And if you do get one of these, there's an upgrade. I upgraded to the brass nozzle. It comes with just a little plastic nozzle, but the brass one's adjustable and will last you forever. If I notice ones down here that are not doing that well, I'm going to really hit them. See how much smaller those ones are? I don't know if it's going to make a difference, but it's something you can do. if you're noticing. And one thing you can notice about plant architecture, if you zoom in close here, see how the leaves kind of funnel the fertilizer down in there. So I don't need to coat the leaves because they have that, it's like a half funnel shape. So they're naturally going to direct rain, irrigation water, and foliar spray down towards the roots, which is cool. They're helping us. So.